Welcome to this week's edition of 5 questions about the Utah Utes. To recap, the Utes had a bye last week, but are 2-0 on the season and will head to Michigan for their first road test of the season on Saturday. Joining me, as always, is Deseret News beat writer Dirk Facer. Dirk, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to be here again. Good to have a football game this week.
Well, let's start on defense this week. Jason Whittingham is out. Gionni Paul appears to be in. What can the fans expect from the Utes defense heading into Saturday's game?
But, they're coming off a really strong performance against Fresno State, at least at the start of that game. They had the 5-3 announced to start, and they made a statement. Gionni Paul making his debut, Miami transfer, high expectations. With Jason Whittingham out, that was a nice replacement for him, and that'll be interesting to see how he does in his debut. Nate Orchard, he's going to see some time at linebacker to help ease the shortness that they have as far as personnel at linebacker, and you'll see some, a little bit of that alignment with him switching back and forth, but they should be okay. I talked to Brian Blecken about the situation, and he thinks that they'll be just fine.
You talk about Nate Orchard. He's off to such a great start. After 2 games, he leads the team with 14 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. Even has a fumble recovery in there. With the new roster adjustments, what are the Utes' plan for Orchard down the road?
They want Orchard to be like Trevor Riley's been the last couple of years. They want him to be a guy that makes the most impact, whether that be at defensive end or at linebacker. They'll move him around a little bit. He's primarily going to be a defensive end because he's so good on the edge and is a premier pass rusher in the Pac-12. So that's where you'll see him. But if defense is key on that, I think you'll see him, as a stand-up linebacker and very versatile player, very talented player, and they're going to put him where he makes the most impact.
Now switching over to the offense, DeVontae Booker is now splitting the starting job with Bubba Poole. Why are the Utes making this move, and what can we expect from the ground game this week?
Well, the ground game's key because they say you can't pass the ball unless you can run first, and DeVontae Booker, very explosive runner. The key for him is to hold on to the football. That was kind of an issue in camp, was whether he, could protect the football. As long as he can do that, he's going to get playing time, and he's done a great job with that. He's an explosive runner. Bubba Poole's kind of more of your meat and potatoes guy that'll just do things and get it done consistently and not too flashy. Booker's more of the spectacular runner, and as long as he's holding on to the ball, you're going to see more and more of DeVontae Booker.
Travis Wilson currently second in the FBS with a 213.9 passing efficiency. What has made him so successful thus far in the season, and how much credit should be given to the wide receivers?
Well, taking care of the football is what Travis Wilson's doing best right now. He only completed 11 passes against Fresno State, but 5 of them went for touchdowns, so that's going to help your pass efficiency rating, and that's why he ranks so high. But he has not turned the football over this year, and that's the key to his success. As far as the wide receivers, having Kenneth Scott back has taken a lot of pressure off of Drez Anderson, and obviously those two are great targets. Wesley Tonga, the tight end's been a great target. So, Travis Wilson's benefiting from the fact that he's taking care of the football and he's got great targets. So it's a combination of things, and so far so good. And as long as you take care of that football, good things will happen.
And we'd like to point out that Travis has not turned the ball over in those 2 starts as well, and that's always a positive.
Absolutely.
Well, finally, the big question heading into the big house. What will the Utes need to do on Saturday to come home with a victory over Michigan?
Well, again, Coach Witt brought up the taking care of the football. He said the team that wins the turnover margin will likely win the football game, and that's usually the case, and especially in a battle between two big-time teams. You got the Big Ten and the Pac-12 going at it. So taking care of the football will be a key. Establishing a ground game will be a key, so DeVontae Booker will need to do well. Travis Wilson will need to do well. Michigan, their strong forte is running the football, so Utah's run defense, that'll be a key. There's a lot of variables that go into this, and then also, not being intimidated by their surroundings. There's going to be over 100,000 people there. Utah won there in 2008. This is not the same Michigan team as in years past. They're struggling a little bit, and Utah's quest to become bowl eligible would take a huge step forward if they can grab this win and get off to a 3-0 start heading into next week's Pac-12 opener against Washington State.
Well, that wraps up this week's edition of 5 Questions. Make sure to check us out each Tuesday for 5 questions about the Utah Utes.